Hello traders, Gary Wagner here, approximately 10:30 in Honolulu, 4:30 in New York on Monday, the 4th day of November, 2013, and this is the daily report for gold and silver. We do have a fairly quiet day in the precious metals, although it's beginning to heat up a little bit. Currently, we have gold off roughly $2 on the day, currently trading at $13.50. We can see that here on a 240-minute chart. The low on the day has been $13.1070 with a high of $13.2330. However, it's silver that's really been under some pretty strong pressure, trading off almost a full percentage point, about 20 cents lower. You can see 21.62, the low 56, the high 22.03. Now, my real absolute question is, will we see gold find any kind of support roughly at around 1300, 1306? That's the 50% retracement. You can see that right here. This retracement is just from the recent rally, which is what, about 1250 to 1362, so about a $100 rally. And of course, we have our 50% retracement. Now, are we going to see this market find some support and continue upward on this rally that began, or are we going to see a dip and begin to trade lower? Because in terms of a critical basis, although we did make it above this particular resistance line on a very, very short-term basis, we had a defined breakout, as we spoke about on Friday's show and Thursday's show, is we've come butt up against another resistance point. Now, there are a couple of different ways to look at this resistance area, but this is a daily chart, even though it's broken into minutes, 440 minutes. And this is the major resistance area that I'm speaking about. It's really based, as you can see, on these tops here, carried it forward. We have talked about this infinitum, about the inability from 1181 comes up to 1434, comes back down. We had a defined fib retracement point that found support around 1250, but as the market came up, lo and behold, towards last week, we saw the market really find that resistance. So the real question right now is whether or not it will find support. My sense is that it's probably likely that we'll trade back to this lower end of the band, and if it's going to get bullish, move up from there. But the defining point will be if it continues on this downtrend and it does go back to this particular support line, will it be supportive, find support, or will it break through? Because traders, as you know, my belief is always whenever you have a compression triangle, as you get closer to that apex right in here, you're going to have that release of energy when it breaks, whether it breaks up to the upside or downside. And typically, when you have a compression triangle, the market will break to the prominent or prevalent direction, prevalent trend direction. So traders, why my concern really to the downside at this point? Well, when we take a look at our basic Elliott wave count, and that's what I've just pulled up, there's no doubt we had this tremendous rally. We were in an absolute bull cycle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had been for quite some time. A, B, C. Market comes up. This should be the beginning of the impulse phase, but then it fails. And it's this failure that really begins the bear count. That's how we've done it. So wave 1, wave 2, long wave 3. My belief was that wave 4 was this A, B, C. And although it's difficult to see, I'll pull up a daily chart so you get a better idea. It really appears to me right now that we have completed, in terms of this intermediate count right in here, we have probably completed our wave 1, our wave 2, and probably have just begun wave 3. Now, to really get a sense for that, we'll need to pull up another chart. So just to give you an idea of what we're looking at, this is the 3-day chart we just had up. I've got it in the corner. And as I said, my current belief is that we're in wave 4. Now, when we look at our daily chart, it will really give us a much more detailed clue. Of course, this was that long wave down 3 that we just spoke about. And then from The conclusion of 3, we go to wave 4. And as I said, I believe that wave 4 was an A, a B, and a C. And of course, we subdivided this into the subcount 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And for the subcount, when you break these up into half-day candles or intraday charts, it becomes a lot more clear. They don't seem as static in terms of the way that they move up and down. Now, from 4, that's my belief, is that we concluded 4 when we hit this top. This is 1434, and that put us into our 5th wave. Now, on the 5th wave, I think we had this long wave 1, wave 2, 50% of that, so it holds within suit. Now we are in wave 3. Now, wave 3 could in fact take us and really threaten us below 1300, and that's why, to me, the real critical area is 1306 to 1300 to see whether or not that holds. Because if it does not hold and the market continues to unfold with this bearish wave count, we could see the precious metals under more pressure. And then lastly, for looking at our gold charts today, this is a simple daily chart, Japanese average format. And the reason for putting this up is really to put our attention to the type of activity we've seen over the last few trading days. We saw this dynamic rally. This rally took us to 62. We did have a good trade right in here. We got in a little bit late, but we got out pretty close to the top. I'm satisfied with that. We had the pivotal doji candle followed by a change in color doji. So we had these double dojis, green and red. On a pivotal candle, in the Japanese average, the color is important. The straight candlesticks, it is not. But as this market comes down, as I said, we want to see where it's going to find support. And 1306 is a pretty critical area. We have not really come close to it yet, but we're going to have to see if this area holds, because if it does not, as I had mentioned, the most likely area for it to really go to is going to be the bottom of that support trend line that we just looked at. And then lastly, again, I'm sorry, but when we pull the daily chart back up, and the reason I've done that is for the extension of this lower support line, if the market does find itself under pressure, the fact is that it could take it as low as this intersection, which is about, I'll call it 1280. That would be the lowest I would think it would go right now. But that's where I think we could see the market head to if it continues under pressure. Now, as far as silver goes, it is under substantial pressure today. As I said, trading off roughly a full % on the day. And the real area we need to see is just right here, 2153. That is important, 2140. And so if it breaks through this area, and take a look at the supportive action right in here, and then right again in here. But if it breaks through this particular area, the next real level of support doesn't come in till about $20.50. This has been Gary Wagner, wishing you as always good trading. We will talk to you tomorrow for another daily update and review. Bye-bye.